Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm Melinda Emerson, the Small Biz Lady, and welcome to Small Biz Chat Live. Now, for the last 9 years, every Wednesday night, I've met you live on Twitter answering your small business questions. But you know what? We decided to do something different. Every third Wednesday of the month, we're going to go live on my Facebook fan page. We're going to be live on Twitter or Periscope, and we're also live on my YouTube channel. And we're going to give you experts that are going to help you take your business to the next level. Now, the reason why I do Small Biz Chat is because our mission is to end small business failure. We know it's hard to run a small business. You're isolated, you're working hard, and I want you to enjoy the journey. So we want to give you tools and tips about things you may not even know you don't know yet about business. That's why we bring in small business experts and authors to give you information that's going to help you live your best life as an entrepreneur. Now, listen, I know that you guys are used to seeing me on Twitter, but we're going to do something new. So I want you guys to, tell us when we're doing something good. Ask live follow-up questions. My team is out there. We want to make sure that we give you what you need. And tonight I have 3 amazing guests that are going to be here to share with you. Our first guest is HR expert Oginga Carr. We also have one of the baddest sales ladies in the South. Her name is Shawn Karol Sandy, and she's here tonight. And my good friend Twyla Garrett, who is a veteran entrepreneur. She has sold a business and started 2 or 3 more. So she's going to tell us what it takes to stay in business, like how you have to stay strong enough, long enough to win in business. She's going to give us motivation and talk about how to persevere in business. And she's going to share with us a little bit of inspiration from her new book, My Mother's Words. So I am so excited to get started with tonight's show. Don't forget to use our hashtag Small Biz Chat. If you want to talk to me, if you want to ask us a question, if you want to ask a follow-up question, we want to make sure that we're giving you what you need to live your best life as an entrepreneur. And so with that, I am really, really excited to introduce my first guest. We are going to be talking HR, and that is really a tough thing in business now, because it used to be you could kind of wing it, but now HR is complicated. The laws are complicated. The Department of Labor is not playing with people anymore. So we want to make sure that we all know everything we need to know so that we are doing right by our employees, we're hiring the right people in our businesses, and that we're making sure that we're keeping up with all that pesky HR paperwork, right? Because that's one of the things that's really a drag about HR. So anyway, but the guy who's here, who is going to give us all of the information that we need, Oginga Carr. He is one of the top small business experts that are out here today doing HR. He's an expert in organizational structure. He's an author. He's a noted HR consultant. Listen, he has trained HR and small business owners in 49 states. He's trained thousands of people on HR, and he really is an expert in HR and compliance. And that's the pesky thing about HR. It's compliance, right? Oginga, welcome to Small Biz Chat Live.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here and get the opportunity to chat with you. And I just can't wait to help people how to be able to structure their business and be able to get things done the right way.
Well, let's just jump right into that, because I don't know a small business owner that don't have people problems. Everybody talks to either they need people, they got the wrong people, they don't have enough time to train their people. You got to help us. You can tell me, how can we hire better employees?
So the key to hiring better employees, when you start off an employer relationship, it's kind of like how you start off another relationship. It's about how you start that has an effect on how it actually finishes. And so the big thing is that many of us don't have proper job descriptions. And so we don't actually know what it is we even want from our employees, or what it is that we'd like to be able to get done. And so we have to put together great job descriptions. I'm a structure dude. For me, it's all about the structure of an organization. If we don't have ourselves structured in the right way, we can't figure out what it is that we want to get done. And so in your job descriptions, it's really important to, first of all, have the actual job description of what it is you want them to actually do. First of all, have the actual description of that. And then you want your description to have the ergonomic, the environmental and the physical needs of the position. What are we talking about with that? You're talking about with ergonomics. So if they got to have to stand for 8 hours a day, it needs to actually say it in the job description. If you're going to be in an environmental situation where there's a problem, where like you're doing construction, there's dust, there's whatever, you need to be able to see that. And then when you're talking about from a physical description, if you need people to be able to lift stuff or whatever, you need to do it. So even if we're talking about physical things, Melinda, or if we're talking about from a place of where we're talking about working from the electronic part, or what we're doing as far as the education side, we need to be able to have that together in our job descriptions.
All right. You said a mouthful there, but I know one of the things that I've heard you talk about before is having core employees. So what is a core employee?
Awesome. So what we describe a core employee as is an employee who's been with you for 2 or more years. Once someone's been with you for 2 or more years, you pretty much know what to expect from them. They pretty much know what to expect from you. We know what we're going to get from that position. The problem is that to replace a core employee, it costs on average 3 times a core employee's salary to actually replace that core employee with another core employee. Because once that person's gone, so here's the thing. I know this is something that you say all the time that I learned from you. You've got to know your numbers. I need for you to be able to know in your business what your employee acquisition cost is. How much does it cost to you for you to acquire a new employee, to be able to know? And there's a whole set of things that you have to look at in order to be able to see that. And so we need to be able to understand what our employee acquisition cost is, because that's where your money is going in your business. And so that's really important.
Well, how do you create more core employees? Like, how do you get to the point where everybody's been there at least 2 years? How you get to where somebody's been with you 10 years?
Absolutely. So the thing is that it's about having a vision of what it is you want in your business, first of all. So you got to be vision based in what you're doing, and then communicate that vision to your employees, to your people, and then hire people who are interested in that vision. So even if you're hiring entry level in your business, whatever it is, you still want to know that people are interested in what you're actually doing. See, if someone comes and they want to work for you and they've never ever been on your website before, they don't know anything about your mission or what it is that you're doing, how is it that you can actually expect them to do so? So it goes back to our job descriptions, really. We want to be clear in our job descriptions what we want them to do. And so once you have that, then you're going to put at the bottom of the job description what I like to call a golden statement. And that golden question is, can you perform the essential functions of the job? When you have someone sign off on the fact they can perform the essential functions of the job, then it puts them in then they understand what you need from them. You understand what they need to do. Now it's not that, because what happens, Melinda, most of the time in our jobs is that the people are surprised about what it is that you're expecting, and you're surprised that they can't do it. And that's because we didn't communicate it the right way.
Yeah, I'm mad that they can't do it. I'm not surprised. I'm upset, actually. But listen, I know one of the issues that a lot of small business owners get caught on and struggle with is miscategorizing contractors that should be employed. And I know that the IRS is really starting to crack down on what classifies as a 1099 versus who needs to be on payroll with a paycheck kind of thing. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Well, the one thing I want you to understand about all of our Uncle Sam that we have is that Uncle Sam wants his money. And so we've got to understand, if you're going to classify someone as a contractor, we have to be able to show in a 3-pronged test how it is that they are a contractor. Do we control the direction of their work? Because we control what they do, then they're an employee. It doesn't matter what we talk about, anything else, they're an employee. Is it an outside service or something as far as, so is this something outside the course of your normal business, or is it outside the place where you are? And also, is it an independent business or trade? One of the big pieces there, when you're dealing with a contractor, they need to have liability in workers' comp insurance or a waiver that says that they're from the state that they don't have it. Many states have a waiver that says if you have less than 5 employees, you don't have to have workers' comp insurance. But still, we have to have that waiver there, because otherwise what will happen is that they'll fall on our workers' comp insurance and they'll be our employee. And see, you don't have to worry about someone snooping around and being audited about this. All you need is for one of your contractors to get angry after you let them go, and for them to then file unemployment on you. When they file unemployment on you, unemployment's going to ask you, were they a contractor or were they employed? And a blank stare is not going to be enough at that point in time. We're going to have to be able to figure out what that situation was. All right.
Woo! You just really said a lot there. You really said a lot there. And you definitely want to, that's real. People get upset. Even with a signed employment agreement that they stated they were a contractor, they could go to unemployment and be like, I was an employee. I once had a freelance graphic designer do that. I got an unemployment notice on a freelance graphic designer who never worked for me. And I was like, wow, I know people do it. So that is my point. So I know you're telling the truth. So when it comes to the building blocks of building a business, what does that look like from an HR perspective?
So from an HR perspective, there are 3 C's that you need in your business. And those 3 C's are clarity, content, consistency. So we need to be clear about what our expectations are of our employees, clear about what our rules are, what we have, where our vision is that we're going, where we're driving our business. Then the content of that has to be legal. It has to be something that's legal that we actually are allowed to do. There's really not that many laws. What happens is that we mess up that final C, which is consistency. We got to be consistent in our treatment of our employees, consistent in our rules and our values and the different things that we're doing. And so when we can put those 3 C's together, you can actually put it together, because unfortunately, many of us are in an HR department of one. See, when I was in corporate America, Melinda, I got a taste of that because I moved into a position. I was a manager, and then I moved into a position I like to call the slash. And so many of us are in that slash position in our life and our business and everything as far as that. So I was the manager slash HR slash payroll slash janitor slash babysitter slash. We had all these multiple responsibilities and we didn't know what to do. And so that's what it is in our business. You are everything. You're the marketing director. You're all these different things. So we want to make sure we get these things done the right way.
Right. So you talked earlier about job descriptions, and how important they are. But how often do job descriptions need to be updated?
You said how long do they need to be as far as how
often do job descriptions need to be updated?
Oh, we need to update them on a regular basis. Here's the deal. There's no way that you can possibly put everything into your employee's job. Many of us write a paragraph job description. At the bottom of that job description, we include a statement that we think protects us. It really doesn't. And that statement is, and other duties as assigned. So now we're going to throw all these other duties in there and be able to figure out how to do it, right? But that doesn't work. That's not what it's about. So what we have to have in our job descriptions is we need to put every recurring duty that your employee would have. And so it's not possible for you to assign every duty they ever have. But if it becomes a recurring duty, rewrite their job description. You can do it at your will. And so when you create that and you write that at your will and you get that done, now we have a place. Now we have a place where we can get things together and do it the right way. And our employee understands what we need. So we should update those job descriptions on a regular basis and have them sign off on the job descriptions as well, too.
Now, let's talk about just conducting a search for employees. Like, what is the best way to do that? Is it throwing up an ad on Monster or Indeed? Like, if I need a new employee, what are the top 3 things I should do?
So the top 3 things you should do when you need a new employee is, first of all, understand what your expectations are of them and understand what type of employee they're actually going to need to be. Are you looking for an exempt employee? Or are you looking for a non-exempt employee? If you're going to looking for an exempt employee, you got to pay them a certain salary and they got to meet some duties tests in order to do that. So we should be clear about that. Honestly, once you get to the Indeed Monster part, that's the easy part. The hard part is understanding exactly what it is that you need from them. See, that's it. We're not clear about what our needs are, so we don't have clarity in that. So if we're clear about what we need the person to do, is it something they can do in 20 hours a week? Is it something that's going to take 40 hours a week? Do we need for them to be exempt so they can work more time as far as that? How is it? What are we going to do benefit-wise for them? Because there are rights and there are benefits, all right? There are rights and there are benefits. And what happens is that employee rights are things that we have to provide for our employees, all right? Employee benefits are things that we provide out of the goodness of our heart. But what happens is that we'll give benefits for such a long period of time that our employee will start to think it's their right. And so the thing is that now you have this sidewalk attorney who's working for you, who's telling you they're going to sue you because you didn't do something with that. Now it becomes like an urban legend that you were supposed to do this thing. And now you find yourself standing in front of a mirror saying Candyman 5 times to see what happens. Now I won't do that because that's a scary movie and I don't play about that. But I'm just saying, all right? So it can be real scary in your business in the same way.
Wow, you have really dropped a lot of knowledge on us about HR. I mean, I feel like you're a little bit like the Scared Straight program related to like have been doing in business. I mean, I'm really afraid. Like, one of my former employees is going to come back and cause me a nightmare. Anyway, but no, here's the thing. We're going to bring you back. Thank you so much. You have given us so much great knowledge and you are brilliant. And that was truly helpful. And, you know, here at Small Biz Chat, our mission is to end small business failure. And so knowing how to handle your HR issues in your business obviously is a big part of running a successful business. So when we come back, we're going to talk with Shawn Karol Sandy, and she is the baddest sales expert in the South. And I'm so excited to talk to us about how to qualify the leads from your prospective customers. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Hi, I'm Melinda Emerson, Small Biz Lady. I know you might be thinking about quitting your business and going back into corporate America, but wait, before you give up, my new book, Fix Your Business, could give you a whole new lease on life. My 12 P's of running a successful business will walk you through step by step how to grow your business revenue, how to hire great people and streamline your processes, and so much more. Grab a copy today of Fix Your Business and get your life back. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Small Biz Chat Live. I'm Melinda Emerson, the Small Biz Lady, and they call me America's #1 small business expert. I am so excited to be with you. Normally on Wednesday nights, we're live on Twitter, but guess what? We're live everywhere tonight. We are broadcasting live from my Small Biz Lady fan page. We are live on Twitter and we're on YouTube as well. And we do this because we're trying to end small business failure. And I want to bring you tools and experts that are going to help you live your best life as an entrepreneur. And right now, I am so excited to bring you my good friend, Shawn Karol Sandy, straight out of Memphis. She is going to give us all of these great sales tips. She is the Chief Revenue Officer of the sales agency. She helps small businesses deeply differentiate their offer and their go-to-market strategies. And really, you know, she is just a bold, cheeky. She gives people a straight talk approach, but what she does is she helps people close more business. So I don't know, does anybody need that information? I do. So I'm so excited to have her here with us tonight because she really works with highly competitive businesses that are ready to go to the next level. So is that you? If that's you, you better listen up. All right. So she's also the author of the Badass Skills Builder series. So Sandy to Small Biz Chat Live. Welcome.
Woohoo! Hey, Melinda. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. So listen, the sales climate has really changed a lot in the last 5 years. I mean, you know, everyone thinks the internet's made it easier. Has the internet made it easier? Is it harder now to sell?
Well, it depends on which seat you're in. It's definitely easier to be a buyer. And if you can recognize how buying has changed and meet buyers where they are, then you have a leg up and it can be easier to sell. It's all about perspective.
All right. Well, I know that there are lots of ways to generate leads for a business, but can you give us a couple of ways to generate leads for a service business?
Oh, yeah. So think of it like you need to, let's show up where your potential clients are looking for solutions. So especially service businesses, there's always industries, associations, conferences, groups. This is where people go to get information, to ask questions of their peers. If you can show up in those channels and, you know, I like to call it 3 things. Let's be visible, vocal, and valuable to people. And when you do that, it's like you're giving them expectations of what it's like to work with you. When they get to know you in a way, they see you where they show up looking for answers. They see how you speak up and you have something to offer and they find you valuable. That's a preview of what it's like to work with you. So show up where your potential customers are looking for answers.
Well, now what about e-commerce businesses? Because I think e-commerce businesses think just because they're on the internet, everybody's on the internet, so how should e-commerce businesses be generating leads? Because it's not build a website, they will come. That
no, that is not the same rules apply. It's show up where your clients are looking for answers. I think we're close to the 50% mark now of executives that turn to LinkedIn to look for someone in their network to provide a solution. There are, community groups on LinkedIn, even on Facebook and Twitter. People are going online to look for answers. What we're doing as customers now, whether you're e-commerce or service, we're outsourcing other people's experiences to gain insights and use that as criteria in our decision-making process. So Angie's List, Yelp, Rotten Tomatoes, all these different review sites and all the different places we look on websites for reviews, we are outsourcing what other people have thought. So go there, be visible there, and you will find your customers.
Now, when it comes to retailers, right, it's all about repeat business, but a lot of retailers blow this one, right? They let somebody walk in their business, plunk down $50 and leave, so what could retailers do to be more smart about, turning their happy customers into brand ambassadors or just getting people to come back?
We have to give people wildly different experiences. Give them an experience worth talking about. That's something that they can't get online. That's something they can't get down the street. Give them something to talk about. From the moment they encounter your business, they want to know that they're special, that they're unique. So walk through your competitors' businesses and see, how do they greet you? How do you feel when you walk through the store? Are you a pain? Are you expected to buy something? Like, what kind of expectations are you placing on people? And how can you give them a wildly different experience and make people feel special? People will talk about how they feel special because they want to sound smart. They want to show other people that they've made smart decisions. And when they refer you, then they look smart. So give people those wildly different experiences and they will talk about them. And those are your brand ambassadors. Those are your best salespeople.
Now, I know that you talk about the value of qualifying leads, but how can you do that without turning people off? Like, that's what I worry about. You can get too specific and then they'd be like, oh, you don't need my money. Okay, I'm out. You know what I mean? So how can you qualify leads in a way that serves you, but doesn't offend people?
You said a key word here. I believe selling is a service, and it's why we're the selling agency, and that selling is the first place it's the first opportunity you have to provide value to someone, and it's how you sell. You are doing someone a service by making sure that they're a right fit for you, to making sure that you're the best fit for them, and doing it in a way where you ask them questions to determine, am I going to be the best service provider for you? Is this going to be a great fit? Ask your questions gently, and having a great pre-qualification process is important. But if they're not a good fit, be super transparent about why, and then be a conduit and a connector. If they're not a good fit for you, find someone that they are a good fit for. Maybe they don't have enough cash flow, or they don't have enough money to pay you. They're not far along enough in their business, or your fees are too high, or you probably know someone or build relationships where you can refer them so that you're a conduit and a connector. That is still adding value to their buying process. They will remember that. And you're transparent about the why, they will remember that too. And again, you're making them feel special. You're being of value to them, and they can also tell other people about their experience with you.
Well, now, a lot of service businesses get a lot of tire kickers. I mean, I know in my first business, when I did video production, I cannot tell you how many proposals we filled out for people who never called us again. So how can you, if somebody doesn't have a budget, do you refuse to give them a proposal? Like, how do you handle tire kickers?
Okay, this is all about understanding where someone is in their process. And this is what your pre-qualifying process is supposed to do. It's having questions built around, tell me about Tell me about your pain. Tell me about why you're looking. Why are you looking right now? And what are you hoping to find in your buying process? When you're looking to make a decision, and what other influences impact when you make a decision. And there's also a lot of budget questions you can use in there too. For instance, so tell me about other solutions you've tried before. This is probably one of my best budget pre-qualifying questions, is when I ask people what other solutions they've tried before. I can get a really good idea of the price range that they've looked and what they've been willing to spend money on. And another one is, tell me what other vendors you're considering and maybe a little bit about why you thought to choose them.
That's actually really good. I've never thought to ask people like, well, who are my competitors that you might already know? That's actually, I'm gonna write that one down. Yeah, that was actually good. Now, how do you sort leads? Like, how do you get to the point where you develop sort of like your pre-qualifying process? What does that look like?
Well, if you're in business, if you're already in business, it should start with your most wildly successful customers. The people that you think, man, if I could clone them and make more of them, that would be what I want. And start assessing all the different criteria. What size business is this? What industries are they in? What's their culture like? What's their decision-making culture like? Is it, one decision maker and that's it? Or do they decide by committee? There are just dozens of different factors. Do I want to look at a region? Do I want to work in specific geography? Do I want to work with businesses in this area? So start looking at your successful customers that you want more of and putting that criteria together.
So now, is that almost the same thing as focusing on your niche? Like, is that, is that also like, okay, like I can remember early on in my first business, which was a video production company, eventually we said, okay, we're based in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. 22 of the top 25 pharmaceutical companies are between New York City and Wilmington, Delaware. Perhaps should we focus on the healthcare and pharmaceutical space?
Yeah. It
was like, but I chased other stuff for 3.5 years before my brain finally said, where are you located? What industries are booming around you? Where can you really focus a niche? Like, should it be sort of like geographically driven too sometimes?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if that is what fits you, what fits your area where you can access those customers, especially if you have, if you're not driving an e-commerce business, you are going to have to physically access customers, then heck yeah, absolutely. That's why I'm in Memphis, Tennessee, home of agribusiness, home of cotton, lumber. So my clients that we work with are mature industries and highly commoditized, highly competitive industries. I know that. Here's the other thing. I don't go chasing SaaS businesses or, really large enterprise businesses. They're not my region and everyone else is chasing them. So by knowing and pre-qualifying my niche, I'm able to convert in a smart way.
And that really, really makes a lot of sense. All right. So I've got my leads. What else needs to happen in my sales process?
Okay. So here's something that is really smart. If you have got your leads and you're always in a process of pre-qualifying, every stage, you're just consistently pre-qualifying people further on down the funnel. Because if you get to a certain point, like, oh, they look good, and then you continue on down, you realize, well, they really don't have the budget. They look good, they have the budget, but you know what? They're really not the right time frame. You need to continue pre-qualifying. And most important, after deciding this is the target that I want to go after, they look like a good lead. It's, if I'm going to engage this client, I need to understand how they make decisions. Every company, every business has a different way they make decisions. You cannot put these cats in a box. It's like herding cats, right? But understanding that is super important. Do they make decisions unilaterally? Most purchases in an organization now cross so many different business silos. Say you want to do a marketing product. Well, that crosses IT. You need to understand who's involved in what their process is to make decisions.
Sure. Well, you know what? I've got one more question for you. What is the best advice you can give a business owner now who's ready to rev up their sales?
the best advice. If you really and truly deep dive into who you want as a customer, this notion of pre-qualifying, you actually become more magnetic and start attracting those ideal customers too. Because once you narrowly define, and I mean be specific, there is someone for everyone. I don't care how specific you go, there is someone for everyone. But if you can narrowly define that, and then reverse engineer what you've done in doing your pre-qualifying, take that criteria, take those assessments, and start including that language in your sales and marketing messages. You're speaking directly to your target audience, and you just start pulling them in. It's by doing more pre-qualifying and understanding your target audience, you start speaking their language and you become magnetic at getting them in, which, by the way, takes less time to pre-qualify, and you convert them to clients at a higher rate.
Right. Well, that is so awesome. Listen, thank you so much for being on Small Biz Chat Live. But don't go away, because we're going to bring you back. I love learning about sales, which is the life's blood of any business. Up next, we're going to be talking with Twyla Garrett about persevering in business and her new book, My Mother's Words. Please stay with us. This is Small Biz Chat Live, and we'll be right back.
My new book, Fix Your Business, is really about encouraging people to take back control of their business and change how their businesses is run. It's not okay to skip paychecks. It's not okay to never feel like you can take a vacation. And it's also not okay to not know how much profit you've made in your business until your taxes are done. I really want business owners to stop letting their businesses be runaway trains. I've written this book to teach people processes and systems to help them run their businesses intentionally. My goal is to help existing entrepreneurs create a business that allows them to live their dream life.
Welcome back to Small Biz Chat Live. I'm Melinda Emerson, the Small Biz Lady, coming to you live from Small Biz Lady Studios in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We are jamming tonight. We just heard from Oginga, Carr and Shawn Karol Sandy, and now we are going to talk to veteran entrepreneur Twyla Garrett. And I am so excited to have her on. She is my good friend, but she's also one of my sheroes. I mean, she started a business that she sold for big bucks and kept going and has started more businesses. And now she's got a brand new book out. So I cannot wait to talk to her. You know, one of the things that is a hallmark of how she's run her business is she's always given people, ex-felons and people that needed a second chance and opportunity in her business. And it has paid off big for her. She is running now GMS, a general contracting firm in North Carolina and Texas. And she's also an independent claims management firm. So her new book is called My Mother's Words. It was just released. Twyla Garrett, welcome to Small Biz Chat Live.
Well, thank you so much, Melinda. Thank you for the opportunity, and you are the best. You know, I love you like a sister. So thank you again for the opportunity.
Well, listen, I just want to jump right in because you have so much wisdom to share. You know, running a business is so isolating. You know, what do you do to stay motivated? I mean, you sold a business, you cashed out, you didn't have to keep doing this, but you did.
Well, I mean, I think you have to look at, as far as motivation, you got to be able to motivate yourself, because it is a grind. It is a hustle. It's a daily grind. And what most people don't understand is that when we leave the job place, it comes home with us. It goes to bed with us. It wakes up with us. We get dressed with it. We put it back on and have to deal with it over and over again. So the bigger you grow, the more powerful you become, the more troubles can come at it. I mean, that song that Jay-Z had, you know, and more money, more problems, or whoever did that one, it is true. And I think
that was big. But I feel
okay, well then there you go. I didn't have time to listen to a lot of music because I was working on business. So when you have those type of things going on, it's going to always be issues. So I'm very excited to talk to you about, how do you keep motivated? You got to keep yourself. I always went back and I found two things that really made me successful. And that was meditation was one. A young lady brought to me an idea of going to Bikram yoga, and I really dismissed it. I said, there's no way this is going to help me. I'm a street kid. I grew up in the streets. And so, seeing me in yoga was just not something that I did. But what it did for me, I was able to go there, clear my mind, be able to focus on the task. And one of the things I think we're taught very, very early in life is that we can multitask and do everything. But that's a lie. You really cannot be successful in multitask. You have to be able to start something and take it to the end and finish it. And so those are the things that kept me motivated. As much as I wanted to have 50 things on my plate, I also wanted to get 50 things off my plate. And knowing how to do that was to be able to strategically move forward and take one task at a time, one business at a time, and move those forward. Once I got them forward, then I can go on to the next one. So being able to understand that you're going to have down moments, you're going to have disappointments, possibly depression, you're going to be elated, you're going to have great moments. And I've had times where we've won a contract that morning and at the next day, we lost the contract that afternoon. So you just don't understand that it can't be a constant, climb that's going to be victory. It's going to be those pitfalls. But the best thing about being in business for me is that I learn from the pitfalls and I use those for the next time around to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Now you've run businesses for a long time. How important are relationships to business success?
Well, I think it's everything. The relationships with the employees, the relationships with the office. If you're renting an office, we even had to have relationships with our building owners, but our clients. You have to be able to really trust someone, the people, their organization. We did a lot of work with the federal government, and we had opportunities each time that when administrations changed out, so did people. So rebuilding relationships was actually one of the things we had to do constantly. When we went from a Democratic to a Republican, back to a Democratic to a Republican or a Republican, it took a different toll. Our business had to shape itself all over again. And we had to go do lead generations a different way every single time.
Wow. So relationships really are the cornerstone of how you built your business.
Yeah, if you can't establish a relationship, if you don't want to be in the room with yourself, nobody else is going to want to be in the room with you. They're damn sure not going to give you a contract, and they definitely are not going to pay your bill. So at the end of the day, you have to be able to understand that if you can't forge a relationship, and forge it honestly, if you can't do it, tell them you can't do it. We actually grew more when I told the client, that's not in our wheelhouse. But when he came back to me, or she would come back and say, I know it's not in your wheelhouse, but I trust that you can find the people to get it done. So when we didn't become the actual execution of the project, we hired and became the project managers of the project, and we were able to get the client exactly what they want. Our bottom line increased, the client was happy, and we were happy.
So how do you start to build a team when you really don't have the revenue yet? And you need a team. It's like a whole chicken egg thing. Like you got to have employees to look like you got capacity, but you don't really got the revenue to support that.
Well, there's some good techniques. So when I opened up the construction firm, we opened it up in 2016 in late. And we had to say, okay, are we going to put a bunch of money into HR with no business and no customers to actually do the work? Or are we going to look to say, how can we strategically look at this? Well, one of the things we did, we're down here in Raleigh, Durham. This is the education mecca, and we have some amazing colleges here. HBCUs, graduates are coming out. What we did is tapped into the internship market. So we were able to actually have 10 interns our first year, actually free of charge. And we put them on strategic projects. We asked for a marketer, we asked for a finance person, we asked for a project management person, and we put them into different stovepipe areas and said, help us build our plan. And I'm so surprised because within the last 6 months of our first year being open, we had high six-figure sales that came through. And a lot of that was actually started with our intern. Now, fast forward this year, we have 6 amazing interns. They're working on 3 different stovepipes. We've got an application being released. We will be over $1 million in revenue in our 18th month in business. And so we know how to create a business, babe. And I can tell you, use these interns. What we're doing now is we've got interns that are seniors one junior, but we're interviewing them for opportunities to stay with our company. You know, we want them to see if they're committed, they understand the culture, they're willing to put in the time, and they're also willing to listen and learn. Because I used to be them. I know how it is to be a hard-headed 18, 22, 21-year-old wanting to go out and party, have a great time. But one of the things I also know is that I know how to buckle down and start putting that effort in to say, I want to be noticed, I want to deliver the best result, and how do you keep me here when my intern is over, and how do I come back as a full-time employee? So I'm grateful. This year we got amazing, absolutely amazing interns, and I'm excited to see them be part of the company in the next couple of years, in future years to come.
That's great. That's great. Everybody doesn't have great internship experiences. Sounds like you have.
Well, we didn't either. Now I can tell you we've had some not so successful ones, but I can tell you what it did though, is it gave me the opportunity to sit down and focus on those areas. If you don't have the cash, you know, everybody says turn to your family. I don't know about that. I don't think I necessarily would do that. Now, would you turn to some experts and some friends that might be strategic people, sales folks? Definitely, I would turn to someone that's a CFO type. If you can't count a dollar and you don't even know how to manage your money or even price yourself, there's no point in even being in business. You're going to be out of business within 6 months. Right.
I understand what you're saying. But listen, I know that I can talk about this stuff with you for days, but I want to hear about your new book. Words. Tell us about the you know, what made you want to write it, and what is it that you're trying to teach with your new book?
Well, it's a motivational book. People always ask, and some people say, well, Twyla, you must have had a silver spoon in your mouth. And that was actually the opposite. I was taken from my mother at a very young age. I was brought over to my father, who I really didn't know well, and at 14 and moved forward. But in the midst of that, you know, I was abused by my mom, both physically and mentally. I was raped as a young woman, and it just was a tragic situation. And then I had no hope to go to college. I actually got money from a teacher to actually take my exams for SAT and ACT. So when people always say, woe is me, you know, you always have to sometimes look at this. My mom's last words to me before I got taken away is that I wouldn't amount to anything and I wouldn't be anything but broke and on welfare. And she would never speak to me again. And she took that to her grave. She died in 2012. Once she took that to her grave, I thought I would sit back and write this book to just reflect and make it, you know, some mental, you know, therapy for myself. And what I got out of this was your most negative influence in the world can be your most positive motivator. My mom was a blessing to me. If I didn't go with my dad, I don't know where I would have been. I don't know where I would have been doing and how I would have been doing it. So, you know, sometimes when people look at bad situations, they got to turn those into positive. It's about your mindset and your mental stability of how you're going to be able to move forward. So my book talks about that. It tells the journey of my story. It gives some reflections of some amazing people that came across my life. It ends in late 2015 with those people who are most influential. And I'm so proud to say you're in my book because you're one of those individuals. And, you know, I am so blessed to be able to share this with people because I think it can touch some of these young ladies and even gentlemen that really think they have a bad situation and woe is me. It's not.
Well, now, where can we get a copy of your book, Twyla?
Well, the book is actually being shipped here. It should be here by the end of the month, beginning of July. But you can go to www.mymotherswords.com and you can order an advance copy, and we'll definitely have it out probably in the first part of July. We're going to be doing a book tour and some other things around the states and countries. Definitely, I'm coming back home to Cleveland, Ohio, my hometown, and to make sure that's one of our stops.
And you're definitely going to come to Philly too, because we're
coming to Philly. I'm actually coming to Philly for sure.
Absolutely. But listen, I don't want anyone to worry. Tomorrow on the blog and in the liner notes of this video, we're going to make sure you guys get the link to get Twyla's book. Twyla, thank you so much for joining us on Small Biz Chat Live. And Twyla, don't go away because you taught us a lot, but now we're going to come back with a quick panel discussion and we're going to do our Hit It and Quit It segment. So just stay with us. We'll be right back.
Are you tired of struggling in your business, not taking a paycheck, dreading dealing with your business in the morning? Are you regretting even starting your business in the first place? Well, I know you're tired, and I also remember what that kind of tired is like. But the good news is, it's time to stop feeling that way. Stop! I'm Melinda Emerson, Small Biz Lady, and my new book, Fix Your Business, is a 90-day turnaround plan to get back your life and reduce chaos in your business. I've been in business nearly 20 years, and let me teach you how to build a business that works for you. Grab a copy today.
Welcome back to Small Biz Chat Live. We have had an amazing evening tonight with Oginga, Carr, Shawn Karol Sandy, and Twyla Garrett, and they are back because we are going to do something called Hit It or Quit It. So we have a few questions that we're going to ask all of our panelists, and they only have 30 seconds to answer, and they can't repeat an answer from another special guest. So I'm going to jump right in it. They don't know what the questions are, you guys, so we're going to have a good time. So I'm going to start this off with Oginga. We're going to come to you. I want to know, what is the worst employee excuse you've ever heard for missing work? Go.
Oh, well, I'll tell you, actually, the worst employee excuse ever, it actually goes back to drug testing. I had a client who had drug testing, and they used animal urine instead of their own urine, and so in order to be able to do stuff. And they collected it from a cat. We figured out it was from a cat, and that's because they put plastic over the kitty litter and got the urine, and that's what they used to try to pass the drug test.
Wow.
Can't anybody beat that?
Sure that anybody could beat that.
Nobody beat that. That's HR stuff.
Shawn, what about you? What's your worst employee missing work story you ever heard?
I called to find out where this employee was, and her response was, I didn't know we were working again today. It was the second day of the job, but it was Tuesday.
Wow. All right, Twyla, what about you? Worst employee ridiculous story you ever heard? What is it?
I was actually awoken with a phone call from American Express telling me that one of my employees was at 7-Eleven trying to take out a cash advance. And when I called, he was at Kinky Boots. He came out of Kinky Boots' place, that he was trying to find some work and some help. But it was 2 a.m, so you know the only help he could find at that time. It was the craziest thing. Then he told me that it was stolen. He came into work the next day. He showed the card to me. I said, the car was stolen. You went and found Kinky Boots, and you came back, and now you got the car back. So Robert actually gave it back to you. He said, well, so I fired him too.
Wow. We've all been in business too long. We've seen too much. Okay. All right. Question number 2. And Twyla, I'm coming back to you first for this one. What is the fastest way to get in trouble with the IRS as a business owner? Tell me.
Oh, not paying taxes. I mean, we already know it. We always see that big, beautiful net profit and think it's a net. Well, it's not net. It's net before you really got to get Uncle Sam his stuff. So it's a gross profit that you need to turn to net, and the net become you need to send your 33% over to the IRS. So at the end of the day, put your money where your mouth is, pay the IRS. I love to get a refund back. I damn sure don't want a letter saying I need to do something else. So it's all about the tax.
Oginga, you got anything better than that? What's the fastest way to get in trouble with the IRS?
The fastest way to get in trouble with the IRS is to turn in a W-2 and a 1099 on the same worker in the same year. That's a big, gigantic red flashing light that says, please come audit me. Please come audit me. That's what it says. It's like, I want you to come visit me. That's what it is. So that's the fastest way to see somebody from the IRS.
Wow. Shawn, you got anything to add?
I do. It's been my experience that you will get a red flag when you start writing off all your office, all your car, your pots and pans, like everything. Like, you be careful what you write off for your home office, because that's a big red flag.
Mm-hmm.
All right. She gave it to you right. And so, Oginga, I'm coming to you next. Give me one old school sales technique that still works. Give me one, Oginga.
Oh, I mean, I'm a big fan of Glengarry Glen Ross. And so, I watch it whenever it comes on. So, legit, ABC always be closing. Literally, that's what's up. If I watch Glengarry Glen Ross, I watch Boiler Room, any of those movies, as far as that, they're all the same thing. So ABC always be closing. So you always have to be looking at how you can close the situation and make it happen, because the openings are always there.
All right, Shawn, what about you? Give me one old school sales technique that still works.
Customers have to know you, they have to like you, and they have to trust you. And you cannot fake the funk on any one of those things. But it's not about you.
Like, know, and trust, right? Like, know, and trust.
Mm-hmm.
But isn't it harder to get to like, know, and trust on the internet? Because anybody can be anybody they say they are on the internet.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
I think it's harder. I mean, because when you figure when you meet somebody in person, you can meet them 3 times before you can turn that relationship into commerce. When you talk about online, I see a minimum of 7. I've seen estimates as high as 21 quality interactions with somebody online before you get a check out of their pocket.
Well, you know, to the next point on that, you have got to bring your personality to your social stuff too. Like, be transparent. You've got to put your personality. Can't be plain Jane boring business person.
I agree. All right, Twyla, give me one old school sales technique that still works.
Know when to shut up. I think a lot of people will get into a sales meeting. I have had a business developer in my old company. He talked our butts right out of a damn sale just because he would not shut up. So know when to shut your mouth because you might already have the sale.
I think that's powerful, but you guys, I'm going to throw one out too because I just can't help myself. I think one old school sales technique is to show up looking like someone that somebody's supposed to be talking to.
Absolutely.
Got into this culture of,
absolutely.
Not showing up looking professional, looking polished, looking like the boss. You're supposed to look like you own a business. So
Absolutely.
and why people show up looking like they slept in their clothes. Like, I don't understand people that get on airplanes in sweats and stuff like that. No, you're supposed to be first date ready for a customer or a real date. You know what I mean? Like, I just think you're supposed to look like someone is supposed to be talking to. And so many people don't take advantage of that and don't dress the part. And it actually truly makes me crazy. But anyway, it's not good. All right. I got one more thing. So I want you guys to all share one motivational tip. Shawn, I'm coming to you first. Share one personal motivational tip.
Okay. So this, whether it's for business, fitness, health, life, I think this has profoundly impacted me. Your status quo is temporary and only defined by the constraints that you allow for yourself. You can push the reset button on your status quo at any point in time. They're just imaginary boundaries only defined by what you allow for yourself. So go jump out of an airplane, go find a friend who does things that scare the crap out of you and go along with them. Do something, especially physical. Breaking those physical boundaries is really important. But you can push the reset button and reinvent yourself at any given point in time.
I think that's really powerful. Oginga, give me one personal motivational tip.
So for me, my dad, David Carr Sr., he taught me a word of the day every day from when I was like 3, 4, 5 years old. And so I have all these words and the words of wisdom. And so he said to me, say us all the time about people who you work with, that we're a family related by affinity, if not through consanguinity. And so, consanguinity, that's the blood that's running through our veins. We're related through that way. But we're related through the love of what it is that we do. So I'm always looking for family members to work with. That's what I look for as far as in business, is to be able to find people who love what it is they do, because I love what it is that I do. And I want to be able to help you and do it that way. So if I can get up and know my mantra every day is to leave a positive residue on everyone who I meet. So that's it.
I like that. Relieve a positive residue on everyone you meet. I like that. All right, Twyla, give me one personal motivational tip.
I think the biggest thing was fear itself can be positive, and being able to live through your fear. If you're not going to take the chances, then you're not going to even know. So, one of the best motivators that I had in mentors was Stephanie Tubbs Jones, and she passed away in 2008. And one of the things that I recognized when she told me, she said, just don't be afraid. Failure was my best success measure. And, you know, and I say that because once I was able to figure out why I failed, I was able to then implement a plan about how I would make that mistake not happen again in other businesses. So get out there. You got one life. You're only going to get one chance. So get out there and live the best one you can.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And the other thing I would just add to that is that, you know, sometimes you have to force yourself.
Yeah.
But then sometimes you have to stop yourself. And I think we as entrepreneurs, like, we're always seeing opportunities, you know, everywhere and stuff like that. And all of us have like bright, shiny object syndrome kind of stuff. And sometimes you just have to stop.
Yeah.
And stay focused on the thing closest to money. And that instead of spending money, focus on the thing that's closest to making you money. And that's what I think that you have to do.
I think when you don't chase money, it will come to you. I agree with everyone on the panel today. If you really do what you love, money will come. If you're chasing money, it's never going to be enough. So once you do what you love, people will drop amazing blessings into your life. So just do what you love, because if you're miserable at the beginning, you're going to be miserable at the end. You can be miserable with millions of dollars. So it doesn't matter. You just got to really love and have the passion for what you want.
All right. Last question, guys. Last question. And Shawn, I'm coming to you first. What's your favorite app for business and why?
Oh, gosh, my favorite app for business?
It could be project management software. It could be,
it's, you know what? It's probably Google Drive. It's not exactly an app, but man, the good people over at the Big G, there's so much you can do with that. And so especially having a dispersed team, we can communicate with each other on sheets, get outside all the email, do chats, hang out. Like Google Drive is amazing. I actually, you know, my clients, we can do surveys on it. We can get real-time information, update spreadsheets. So I would say Google Drive is probably my favorite application.
All right. I love it. Oginga, what's your favorite business app and why?
So my favorite business app is probably my email aggregator, Entreport. And the reason why I love it is because I can make pages in it. So I can make a page for a client for them to be able to see everything it is that I'm offering, and they can pay for it right there. And it goes already right then. So it's already connected. I can make landing pages with it, and then everything connects back into my email list, because my list is gold. I realize that, and I need to have that. And so that would be the one that I love the most. Definitely would be Entreport.
All right, Twyla, what's your favorite business app?
Ours is more of a communication tool. We do some international work, and I travel overseas a lot. So everybody knows what WhatsApp is. And it's been a blessing to us because it's been able to connect us with people where Skype could not get through. We were never able to dial up, or they had poor signals. Everywhere I've gone, I've had amazing meetings in China last year, in Thailand last year, and was able to do some great business because of that tool. So it's been one of our favorite. Even earlier today, we taught our intern how to use it, and she was actually talking to one of our designers in Turkey to actually put together an app that we're launching this year for construction.
That's
so
awesome.
Next year, I'll say my app.
Okay. All right.
Isn't it funny that they were all about communication? That's really funny.
Yeah, that is. Well, listen, you guys, this has been awesome. Thank you so much, Shawn and Twyla, for being here tonight as my special guest. How can my audience get in touch with each of you? Shawn, I'm going to come to you first.
Okay, so thesellingagency.com, our blog, if you have a question about selling, I promise you the answer is on there. You can find me on Twitter at Selling Agency. Of course, we have a Facebook page, but I want you to do something else. I want you to check out me and one of Melinda's other favorite people, Diana Guerin, on YouTube. We have a YouTube show called The Sellout Show, where we talk sales and selling, about hands-on practical stuff. Go there and subscribe too. So I want you to find us there and subscribe.
All right, Twyla Garrett, how can folks get in touch with you?
Well, for the book, you can go to mymotherswords.com. I'm on Facebook and Twitter, just Twyla Garrett. We will be actually launching, we're doing a development in Columbus, Ohio, where we're building some homes in the inner city that we're going to actually give back. So we're going to actually be doing our own podcast and building development over the next 120 days. So you're going to see us actually put a house together from ground up. So you can definitely hit me there as well. We're going to have some very interesting challenges and some competitions at the end of who will actually get and be awarded the houses that we build.
Awesome, awesome. And Oginga, if I'm having a HR crisis or I need an HR handbook, how can I get in touch with you?
So you can get in touch with me. I have the original name, so it's easy. OgingaCarr.com, OgingaCarr.com. Hit me up, check out one of my pages there. Also, if you just need some HR tips, you can go to hrtipsnow.com. We send you a free HR tip every week for you to go and check out and understand things about HR and those different things with that. I just want to say I really appreciate being here with you guys. All of you were wonderful, and I'm just thankful to be here.
Well, thank you so much. And you guys, that is it. This has been Small Biz Chat Live, and we are going to be back on Twitter next week with Sherry Levitan, and she's going to be talking about how to tighten up your sales process. I don't want you to miss it. Know that the mission of Small Biz Chat is to end small business failure. I'm Melinda Emerson, Small Biz Lady, your host. And remember this, you never lose in business. Either you win or you learn. God bless. I'll see you all next week.